Hello, my name is Hope Thomas, and today I'm here celebrating the celebration of life from my son James Gaul, who had an overdose of heroin and fentanyl on October the 8th. Before that, on September the 28th was the last time I spoke with my son, and he had a baby September the 29th. Allegedly it's his child, I don't know. I texted with him, he was happy, he had the baby. September the 29th, he left the hospital, and I was trying to call my son all that day, and he wouldn't text me back or accept my phone calls. October the 1st, I tried to call his phone, and the phone was cut off. I then contacted his girlfriend, who was still in McGee Hospital having her baby, and she stated that my son did not return to the hospital after leaving her September the 29th. So October the 1st, after talking to her, you know, I didn't panic because my son is known not to talk to me for 3 days if he's on, you know, a drug binge. So October the 16th, his girlfriend finally got in contact with me, and she stated that she has not seen my son since October the 6th, when she gave him her car, and he said he was going down Pittsburgh to do a job. Now meanwhile, my son didn't work, so I questioned, what job, where? She stated that he was going to help somebody move furniture into a store. I said, okay. I said, did you report your car stolen? Because it's now October the 16th, and she hasn't seen him since October the 6th. I said, well, you need to call the police and report your car stolen. She stated that she didn't want to get him in trouble because he's on probation. I was like, no, call the police. So she never called the police. So October the 27th, I finally called Centerfield Police Station and spoke to a Lieutenant Danny Gasco, and he stated to me that he could not file a missing report on my son because my son is not on any medication or in danger of hurting himself. And I explained to him, my son is on drugs and he's not in his right mind. That's probably cause for you to either, you know, go up her house to see if my son is up there or file a missing report. He stated that he could not do that, but he would send a police car up there just to see if her car is up there. He called back to me and he stated that my son was not up at her house and the car was not there. So I said, okay, what about a missing report? He said, ma'am, I can't do it. So I called him every day, and still he told me the same thing, I can't do it. I said, this is not like my son. My son takes 3 weeks off from calling me. I said, but it's a month now. It's October 27th. Can you please do something? Help me. He said, I can't, ma'am. So I'm continually calling him. I worked at a daycare in November the 3rd. It affected my job. I left. I couldn't. My son is missing. I know my son, and I knew as a mother's tuition, I knew my son was in danger. I contacted Channel 11 News. Channel 11 News said they can't do anything because he's not missing. I mean, he's 30 years old, he's not missing, and they don't have a missing report. So I hung up with them. I called the state police. I said, can you do something? They said, no, we cannot do nothing. Where's his address? I said, Centersville. And they won't do nothing. They was like, well, we can't do nothing. Your son is 30 and he's allowed not to call you. I said, this is not like my son. My son has never been taking this long to talk to his mother. And still nothing. I called McKees Rocks Police Station. Still, they checked everybody's checking their database to see if he's in jail. But I'll get to the story. I don't want to tell my story until I get to that point. So I called McKees Rocks Police Station because his address is in Centersville. The lady did check the database once again, see if he was in jail. Nothing. There's an Ask Marty on KDKA. Long email to Marty. Marty never contacted me back. Meanwhile, I told everybody that he's a known drug dealer. Not a drug dealer, I'm sorry, a known drug addict. And my son is out there. Still nothing at all. Finally, I went to the Menneson police station and spoke with a chief of police now, a Jim Smith. He said, I will do everything I can to find your son. That evening, I got a phone call stating that my son was dead. He gave me the number to contact the Allegheny County morgue. I called the morgue that evening at 6 p.m. I was told that my son laid down that morgue since October the 8th. I lost my mind. I lost it on him. What do you mean my son has been down since October the 8th? They said they contacted a Hope Thomas in McKees Sport. They went to one house. My son, as you can see up there, looks Puerto Rican, whatever, but he's biracial. And I asked the man, what color is my son? They already identified him by his fingerprints. My son has been in and out of jail, so I was like, well, where did you check? Oh, well, ma'am, we only checked one Hope Thomas. I said, what about phone records? What about phone records? Ma'am, we called a telephone number, and that telephone number was mine. It was. I said, well, why didn't you call Sprint to see who else had the telephone number? I was like, no, this is not acceptable. My son has family. My son has family. So I'm like, how did he die? How did he die? How did he die? He told me he had an overdose. And he told me they cremated my son 2 days ago. Now this was January the 22nd, Julie? The 23rd that I found out my son passed. They told me my son had got cremated 2 days prior before that because he was awarded to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania because they didn't find a family member. They couldn't find a family member. I said, you didn't do everything you could. I said, what about Facebook? What about the news? I said, he has tattoos. We could have identified him on tattoos. Ma'am, I'm sorry. We did what we could. We did what we could. So he said my son was cremated. I said, okay. The next day, January 24th, I get a phone call in the morning stating that my son's not cremated. I said, well, which one is it? Is he cremated or is he not cremated? And I spoke to a guy named Sean, and he admitted that they did not do everything that they could, and he apologized for their actions. Now, as a mother, I never thought to look for at the morgue for my son. I never thought. But as the mother's tuition, I knew my son was in danger. I knew, and nobody did anything to help me once I said that he was on drugs. Even when they found him, Pittsburgh police went to an address up on the Hill District, I was told, did not do anything to contact his family. Justice for James, that's what we're going for. Thank you for telling my story. Please get my story out. Anybody whose family members is on drugs, please check the morgue. Don't disregard the morgue. Don't disregard that you got a family member. I put him out on Facebook. Here's Julie Evans. Maybe she can tell you more about the story and how we correspond back and forth, trying to get justice and just looking for it.
I'll come over with Hope. Hi everybody, thank you for taking the time to listen to our story and try to spread awareness for Justice for TINK and any missing person or anybody that is recovering addicts or currently using. It's a vicious cycle that our family has been affected by in more ways than one. We want to get some answers. We want to know why we were not notified. It is absolutely unacceptable that somebody lay somewhere for almost 4 months that has family, that has people that do care about him, that looked for him. We looked for him. When we knew we didn't hear from him, we knew something was wrong. And we need all the help we can get. Anybody, please share this. Please make posts, whatever you can do to try to help us get our story out there so we can finally get some answers and so we can finish his story. And so he may rest in peace and we all have a little bit of closure and just support for him because he was loved. He might have been involved with some things that we may be not proud about, but we love him and we miss him very much, and we do not feel that he was treated with the respect and the dignity that he should have been as a human being.
Yes.
Thank you very much for listening to our story, and We greatly appreciate it. God bless.
God bless you.